Warning! The following podcast includes spicy content. This level of heat may not be intended for all audiences. No, but seriously, it's hot. Like, spicy. I mean, we might chew food for like 10 seconds, but we don't really swear. And it's not actually dirty. We just talk about hot chicken. So if you like it XXX hot, welcome to the HOT Chix Podcast. Hello, friends and folks, and welcome back to another episode of the HOT Chix Podcast, a spicy pilgrimage to the Nashville hot chicken phenomenon. I'm Alex Tinker, and I'm joined this week again by my co-host, Mr. Gregory Gillespie. Greg, how you doing?
Doing good. Doing spicy.
Doing spicy. That's what I like to hear. I will say, we are starting off this season, this show, we are starting everything off on the right foot. I think it doesn't get much better than what we've just enjoyed. And this, what we've now come to call the side chick, which is the extra tender that we are going to have with every meal, and we're going to get that the hottest that it goes.
Yeah.
This one looks painful. So I'm going to be honest with you. This is going to be a great episode, but I think the reason it's going to be a great episode falls because if you're going to start with something, you got to start at the beginning. And
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get more of the beginning than talking about Prince's hot chicken.
Yep.
And Greg, you know the backstory of Prince's. Do you want to tell us a little bit about Thornton and go into the story?
Sure. So Thornton Prince, well, actually the story starts with his ex-lover. I don't think they were married, but his lady that caught him cheating on her and decided she was going to punish him by making his fried chicken as spicy as she could.
So wait, this was something born out of a lustful relationship.
And out of spite and out of scorn. And her name was lost to time. But Thornton liked it. Thornton kept making it, opened up Prince's. And I think actually it was initially called barbecue chicken because they didn't have a name for it. It was never barbecue chicken, but they didn't know what to call it. And so Prince's, as you probably know, is all that existed for decades. There was no other Nashville hot chicken. It was just this place. Prince's does their chicken in this interesting, spicy way. And that's it.
It wasn't, at that time, I mean, we're talking about Nashville hot chicken.
Yeah.
We're talking about this as something that has spawned and spanned oceans. It has spawned, I'm going to say millions upon, probably billions of pieces of hot chicken that have been made in the name of Nashville hot.
Right.
It didn't exist before Prince's.
No, and even after Prince's, it wasn't really called Nashville hot chicken. It was just, there was just Prince's. And people call it, like, that's hot chicken. Somehow the name came around. Nashville eventually embraced it as its thing, but Prince's was the only place that offered this exclusively for a long time. They invented it. It's their thing. What they say is hot chicken is hot chicken. It's one of the reasons why I'm such a bone-in guy. As far as like the dish that was invented, all Prince's sold for decades upon decades was bone-in fried chicken.
You know what? I have to ask if we can just pause right there. Looking at, and I know in the intro episode, the very first intro episode where after we were talking about this, we started discussing what we're going to get, what orders we're going to look at. And Gregory and I have a very interesting friendship that has kind of evolved over the past, couple years, 4 years.
Yeah,
5 years. I don't call it judging, but he'll look at me in a way where it's like, that's good, but it's not right. And I understand this because after hearing the passion that comes from the story of Thornton himself,
right,
I understand now why tenders are not the original, and it's
because it's a cultural thing. And it was really something that Prince's actually didn't start selling chicken tenders until they were at their Ewing Lane location or not Ewing Lane. I think it's just Ewing.
Ewing location, yeah.
But they sold tenders on Tuesdays. Like it was.
Was that it?
Yeah. It was just a thing on Tuesdays, and I'm pretty sure they didn't do that until after Hattie B's had came around.
Okay, so I have to ask, right? Many people that are listening to this are very familiar with they're very familiar with what they see, which is Hattie B's is everywhere.
Right.
But Hattie B's, and we're going to talk about this in the Hattie B's episode.
Yeah.
Right? And Hattie B's is going to be in a couple episodes. We're not quite there yet, but it's on the list. We are not here to bash any hot chicken place whatsoever. We will be honest and we will explain things. And actually, Hattie B's, many people see hot chicken as a Nashville hot chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
That was not Prince's hot chicken.
No, Hattie B's came out with the chicken sandwich. And
the hot chicken sandwich.
The hot chicken sandwich. And then you have what you have outside of Nashville, I find really imitates Hattie B's as far as flavor profile, as far as menu items. And a lot of these places do not have bone-in chicken. They have tenders and they have a sandwich.
I'm gonna go straight off of that. One of my favorite hot chicken places, and I talked about this in the intro episode, is Dave's Hot Chicken.
Yeah.
Right. I really want to go to it. I love their menu style, and having worked in kitchens before, having spent a lot of time, actually in the restaurant industry, sure. I like menus that are basically the complete opposite of Cheesecake Factory. This is no slam on the Cheesecake Factory, but I like menus.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Exactly. At that point in time, I like a menu that is concise and it is on the same level of delicious across the board.
Right.
I feel like if you can do that, you have mastered your craft, sure. Right? And we're going to talk about this as well. Then you can add on something else that's amazing.
Sure.
That's going to pop up a little bit later. That's a little teaser for you. But Gregory, if you don't mind, please keep going. The Ewing location, tenders really only came out on Tuesdays. That's a Hattie B influence.
Yes.
But tell me more about Ewing and give the history on that.
Well, that was my first time having Prince's. Was that old location, and it was magic. It was just quite honestly the best fried chicken of my life. They fried in cast iron skillets back in that. They had just a kitchen filled with stoves, just kitchen stoves, and they had cast iron skillets, and they took forever. Like, they were open late. I forgot how late they were open. It might have been till 3, 4 in the morning.
I think 3 p.m. or 3 a.m.
on the weekend, and you could easily wait over an hour for your chicken. It took forever, but it's because they were doing it right. They were doing it the old-fashioned way. So my first Prince's experience was that, and it was a teeny little hole in the wall. Half of Nashville, if not more, had been in it. Now, in the meantime, they opened up a second location off Nolensville and Antioch, Brentwood. It's a Nashville address, but that was, I think, their attempt at making something a little more modern, something a little faster. Like they used deep fryers, and just the decor was a little bit more modern, a little bit trendier. They have a little stage in the corner, and that was their attempt again to do something that was just a little bit more what people wanted. What some people wanted, they thought. And so they opened that up, and most people would still say, "Oh, it's not the same." And okay, fair enough. But that old location, a car ran into it and it burned down. And so,
and I mean, when we talk about a car ran into it, no, I'm like Gregory said it best. A car went straight through the front of the restaurant, and I want to say
in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I want to say it was like 3 a.m.
It was the middle of the night
after it was closed.
And I don't know, I can't remember if it was Prince's or if it was one of the next door lots. Regardless, it burnt and it was gone. Just like that, it was gone. And then all we were left was this Nolensville Road Prince's, which actually right now where we're recording this is maybe less than a mile away.
Stone's throw, absolutely.
Right. And which is where I live, and I go there pretty often. And it's no secret that Prince's is my favorite hot chicken. And what I will say about the new location, no, it's not the same as the Ewing location. It's still Prince's. It's very good. It's still Prince's. It's not it doesn't have the magic of the old location, but it's still very good, and it's really consistent. I know people have critiqued it and said that they still thought it took a long time, or they thought that it wasn't consistent. like I said, I live close. I've been plenty of times. I've never had a bad experience. I've never had bad chicken there. It's usually very fast. Sometimes it's instantaneous because, again, they're trying to modernize it. They're not cooking to order. They're just cooking leg quarters, breast quarters, in batches. And so, but I really like it. I really, really like it. Prince's, the flavor profile is just classic. It's hard to describe. It's just the right balance amongst things. And when you go to some of these other places, you notice some of these other spices. Prince's is unique in the way that it's not distinct, but it's not lacking. It's nobody else can nail it. Nobody else has this flavor that tastes like Prince's. But like I said, it's not distinct, or like in the sense that when you go to Party Fell, I can taste some smoked paprika. When I go to Granddaddy's, I can taste some cumin.
We talk about subculture with the peppers that they use.
Man,
I mean, it's
super distinct.
Absolutely.
And Prince's is not, like, I can't really describe it besides cayenne, brown sugar, oil, but it's just a classic flavor that somehow it just hits the nail on the head. The batter is thinner than most places.
We noticed that.
Yes.
We noticed that today. Real quickly, before we go into the batter, we had mentioned the Nolensville Road location. Right. That is also not the location that we went to today.
Correct. We thought that since they have opened up, and their newest location is in the Tanger Outlet in Antioch, not super far away, actually, from the Nolensville location.
I mean, I think it took us 11 minutes, and that's including a back road.
Yeah,
so
strange, kind of a strange decision to put it there, but they did, and it's a very modern location. But we decided that would be the best because we've had the old Princes, we've had the Nolensville Princes. We decided let's do the newest location and base the episode based on that, and having had all these other locations previously. And so I liked the way it looked. It was very modern. It was coolly dressed. I told Alex that if you could imagine if they had opened this up before, had a location like that before Hattie B's. Well, I don't know if there would be a Hattie B's, to be honest.
Well, it definitely would not have had the impact that it's had.
No.
And I'll say this much. I, almost out of pure reference, would like to go to the Prince's that's in the Assembly Food Hall. And
Oof.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Is that a hot topic?
Yeah,
right there?
I'm not
sorry,
a fan. I actually don't think I've ever had it. It's just, it's frustrating. And I can get on my soapbox about this. So Hattie B's is downstairs. They have a full restaurant. Upstairs, in the food hall, they have a Prince's with a limited menu. So people hear about Prince's. They hear, oh, this is the original. Oh, I can try it because I'm on Broadway. But they only have tenders and wings.
Oh.
And I've heard nothing but the inconsistency of the heat levels and consistency of what comes out of there. It is a compromised Prince's. I tell people, and we'll talk more about this, but if you haven't gotten what Prince's is known for, you haven't been to Prince's. And so what they built their business on. Now, I think the location in the food hall is just a sign that they haven't done the best job at expanding. You know, they actually also have a location in the soccer stadium.
Do they really?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what they probably just do tenders.
It would have to be. I mean, yeah. I couldn't imagine they have the time to do bone in.
And that's why they don't in the stand. But the problem is, again, Hattie B's is downstairs, and that's if you're comparing tenders, there's a good chance Hattie B's has better tenders.
Well, and we're gonna get on to that. We're gonna talk about the tenders at Prince's very shortly.
Yeah.
What I would like to just also throw in there is we're mentioning a lot of local areas and a lot of neighborhoods. If you're not from Nashville and you are listening to this, first and foremost, don't listen to everybody who's going to say Nashville's full or don't come here or all that. Come on. Like, here's the deal. If you are listening to this, you are a renegade foodie just like us and you want good food, we are here as an informational base and we are here to welcome you in. You know what? Send us a message when you're coming. We will join you at a hot chicken place or if we can.
Based on availability.
Yeah, based on availability.
Yeah.
But I will say this much. We went today we were not going to start this podcast. We were not going to put out a first episode without having the original.
Correct.
And I think for all intents and purposes with today, that was as great of a snapshot as we could have had to discuss and talk about realistic expectations, talk about standards, talk about
the
directions. Hey, and you know what? Y'all, some people are going to listen to this, and there are purists out there, hot chicken purists. There are a couple different Facebook groups that are out there, and trust me, we're in them, right? Mm-hmm. Where if you do anything, they will shun anyone who gets tenders, which honestly, that's the whole reason I get my order. And Gregory, I don't know if I've ever told you, out of spite and spice, I am choosing to get tenders with coleslaw and fries at every single location we go to, specifically so that I can look and I can have a well-rounded evaluation.
Sure.
And I think...
But you're going to try some of my bone-in too.
Well, and I have to. I mean, you know, with a bone or going home, you know what I mean? It's worth it. Yep. So all that to be said... We have...
what about the bone?
With a bone or going home, man. Okay. That's how it goes. I mean, it's the iconic and the original, much in Prince's original history, was a bone-in leg quarter.
Yep.
So, you know what? I think this is a perfect time to talk about, just jump right in. Do you want to start us off by talking about your order?
Right. So I've had Prince's so many times. I get a half chicken, extra pickles, and sides I choose kind of vary. I like the potato salad. All Prince's sides are. I'm pretty sure they don't make them. To be honest, I would be surprised if they do, but it's okay.
I think the You Go Girl greens.
Oh, they definitely make those.
They definitely make those in-house.
Those have turkey and
They use turkey instead of pork.
Yeah.
Which I mean, that alone is unique. But it's a lighter flavor, but it still has that robust kind of kick of the greens.
Yeah. It's been a while since I had the greens. But I wrote, you don't go to Prince's for the sides.
You don't. Hold on. We need to emphasize. I wrote this down in my notes section, I think 4 times. Greg, you don't go to Prince's for the sides.
No, you don't.
You don't.
As a matter of fact, I really think, because we will reference Hattie B's a few times, because that's in the conversation. Usually people are referencing Prince's and Hattie B's in the same sentence. And so because of the different impacts they've had, the significant impacts. So, because obviously the original, Hattie B's is now the most famous. So, I think Hattie B's really changed the game with the sides in a way. Because, to be honest, I don't think Hattie B's sides are mind-blowing. I'm not in that camp. But what you will hear from people, like person after person, is I like Hattie B's because they have better sides.
Potato salad, man, alone.
See, I actually like Prince's potato salad more.
Do you really?
I do. I like the mustard.
You like the mustard base.
Yeah.
See, I like the light with the bacon, the chives. It's like a loaded baked potato without the cheese.
Yeah. But I get it. And so Prince's sides, they probably aren't made them in-house or anything like that. It's okay. It is what it is. Fries are frozen. Is what it is. But you're there for the chicken. And so I get a half bird. I always get extra pickles. Tear off a bite of chicken, eat it with a pickle, rinse and repeat. I usually go... So when I started going to Prince's, the old location, which I don't know how much it's me that's changed versus how much the chicken has changed. But when I initially started going to Prince's, the hot was a little bit past comfort for me.
I'll agree with that because I started going in 2017 when I got here, right?
But and now I usually go extra hot. Today I went hot, but a lot of times I'll go extra hot. And I don't know if they've made it less hot. I don't know.
Do you think that's because of the hero complex whenever it comes to hot chicken? Like, for everybody who's not familiar with this, I kind of have this hero complex whenever it comes to hot chicken. Is there's always someone that will order the hottest one and always react no matter what the heat level is.
So I think the hottest one has always been a punishment because it's just them pushing the envelope. But as far as the levels below that, you have to imagine that as a restaurant, it's a big pain to have something that people constantly complain about. Like, I got hot and it was just, I couldn't eat it. And even if they say, as is, you get what you get, if you are trying to expand and grow, my guess is the more you grow, probably that's going to go down a little bit, little by little. The hot is not going to maybe be as hot as it was if you were just one location. That's just my guess.
I also think, and this is me saying this, Now, if you take a look at the original Ewing location, this is unfair to reference Ewing location as much as we do, but ladies and gents, you have to understand it was the origin.
Well, it wasn't the original. And
it was the first location for Prince's.
No.
No?
No.
You want to tell me about that?
Sam Harrison, as resident hot chicken historian, can talk more about that. But apparently the original location was off Jefferson, and it's moved around. I think it was near Opryland at one point. It's moved around several times. It was in Ewing. It was on Ewing for a long time. But the original one, again, off Jefferson, and they are, this year, 2024, supposed to open a location that was right down the street from where the very original one was, off Jefferson.
Taking it back.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So Ewing was their first move away from the first restaurant location?
No, I don't think so. I think, like I said, Opryland. Again,
you're right.
I am not an that's a Sam Harrison question, but the Ewing one nowadays is what most people know about. And unless you meet some Nashvillians that have been like, oh yeah, my parents took me to Prince's back when it was over at this location. But yeah. What is significant, though, is I'm pretty sure the cooking of the chicken didn't change until that Nolensville location. I'm pretty sure it was skillets. It was a very inefficient yet incredible way of making chicken and having a restaurant. And so that, I think we can identify those different eras. We can group all the original era in with the Ewing location.
Okay.
And then the new era in with this Nolensville and onward location.
So if we're using Jarvis or Iron Man suit, kind of, it's going to be this is Prince's V2.
Yes.
Mark II. Prince's Mark II.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
And so now Miss Andre did change the recipe. Well, no, she didn't change the recipe. Apparently, the original recipe was mild. What they call mild. That's what I heard. And if I don't know if you've had the mild, again, old mild.
Yeah.
But you could feel it around your mouth.
Yeah, you could.
And I only had it once. Somebody got wings for a tailgate.
Okay.
And they were really good. And I was like, man, what is it? Oh, it's Prince. It's mild? This is like the corners of my mouth are burning. But Miss Andre apparently is the one that when she took ownership, she's the one that added all the different heat levels. So all the fact that the hot chicken restaurant format was created by her in a lot of ways.
Miss Andre, if this gets back to you, just from a historical standpoint and from a culinary and business standpoint, we would love to have you on the show. There were a couple times that even Gregory and I were joking because we know. I mean, Gregory had, I think, been in the restaurant when you were there at one point.
Oh, I've met her multiple times.
Multiple times?
Oh, yeah.
And
I've introduced my family to her. Oh, every time I see her, I say hi. She always thanks us because she's got bills to pay.
She got bills to pay, ladies and gents. I mean, if that's not one of the coolest things that you can hear.
She's got the key to the city, and she's thanking us for coming to her restaurant.
Thanks for coming to get hot chicken. By the way, I have bills to pay, so please keep coming back. But okay, we have gone off on a tangent. So
get back onto our Tanger.
The Tanger tangent.
Yeah,
that was good.
So yeah, I got a half bird. You want to tell me what you ordered?
Well, I mean, in honor of staying true to this, I even thought I was gonna go off.
You did a little bit.
Did you notice I asked what the second? So I obviously get coleslaw, and here instead of fries, because I'm sorry, but I'm just not a fan of bagged fries. I want something different. Now they do put a dry spice on them. They season them in the back.
Or something.
Yeah, something simple. But I almost went away and strayed a little bit to get the You Go Girl greens because I love the You Go Girl greens. It's a light green, but as always, I get the tender meal. Some places are 3, some places are 4.
And this is 3?
This is 4.
Oh, 4. Okay.
This is 4. So I always get the tender meal with fries and coleslaw. Okay. I don't do that out of I am basic, as some people would say. I do that because I want to
baseline.
Well, I want to have a standard across the way, sure. Right? And the only time I'm not going to get that is if it's not available, because there are some places. this doesn't necessarily count because this is going to be a bonus episode, but when we do subculture,
Right.
that's a hot chicken taco.
Right.
And that's not really a hot
But
chicken
it
place.
does have slaw on it.
But it
and
does
they
have
do
slaw.
have fries.
They
and
do
they're
have
very
fries.
good fries too.
I also, that's a whole different story though. But if it's not available, I will get something different. But it's always going to be a tender of some sort because I want to evaluate the preparation between a leg quarter, bone-in leg quarter, and a tender
Right.
are drastically different. And what people don't realize is that most of the time there's a breading on the tender and there's not so much breading on a leg quarter.
I think that usually it would be the same thing. I think this time we pretty much verified there's just no way it was. But before we go there, Alex,
Yeah.
let me just give a quick synopsis.
Please.
I love Prince's. This is probably we were curious about the Tanger Outlet location, newest location, most modern location, probably the worst chicken I've had from Prince's. Now, that's not me complaining about it. That's just me critiquing it because knowing what I usually get, knowing what the standard is in my mind, I enjoyed it. I liked it, but I don't think it was as good as what I typically get from. Well, definitely not as good as the Ewing location, but
it's incomparable.
Yeah, but a further step away. Like it was a step down, I think, from the Nolansville location. Now, I didn't tell you this, Alex, but for lunch, I actually went to the Nolansville location.
Did you really?
Yeah, so
you sneaky bugger.
So Sydney had never had Prince's, and we were
ever?
No, I know, and she's with me, and it's crazy, right? But I offered to her. I was like, okay, Alex and I, you have to go to work. She had to work. Alex and I are going to Prince's. Do you want to get some Prince's for lunch? And she said yes. And so she got Prince's, and I got a leg quarter because I was like, you know what, just for science, I'm gonna get one. And
a leg quarter from now. Okay, this is y'all. This is different. This is the Nolansville Road location.
Yes, it is.
Huh?
And that's what it looked like. I just pulled out a picture on my phone.
Okay, hold on. I take photos and I utilize them.
And it was typical to what I always get at that location. It was.
No, I'll say. I mean, this is I'm pulling up a photo.
Notice how it's you just pulled up the Tanger location. Notice how it's not as flaky.
Do you? Yeah, and it's also not fully. This is fully covered in the breading. Do you see how it also goes the whole way around? So the Tanger location, if I'm talking about it, it's going to be.
It was still a thin breading, but it just wasn't as crispy. It was greasier. It was the flavor almost was a little bit different. Which it sounds weird to say, but I can't fully articulate it. It seemed to have a little bit less flavor.
So I also, okay, and I think we talked about this. I felt like when it comes to Prince's, there is a distinguished flavor. If Prince's is a shape on like a grid, an XY axis, right? And Prince's is a flavor, I feel like they are a very well-rounded circle.
Yes.
With, I would say, a kind of like an extra point out of it. So it would look almost like a weird top-down woodpecker kind of point. I believe that would go into a little bit of salt added to it. That's just how I see this in my brain, right? To anybody else who's neurodivergent, welcome. You are welcome here. But that's just how I kind of picture this. Now, here's why I say that. The Nolansville Road location, I am a big fan of theirs.
It's consistent.
It's consistent.
It's good.
And I'll tell you, it is when I think of Nashville hot chicken and I get a craving for Nashville hot chicken and I'm past Hendersonville. I'm up in Gallatin, right? It is an hour to get from Gallatin to the Nolansville Road location.
Right.
I literally will look at myself and I'll look at my wife, Jordan, and I'll say, do I get in the car right now and make a 2-hour round trip just to get hot chicken?
Or do you go to Moore's?
We'll talk
about that.
He's another episode, man.
He's an episode and a half.
Well, you were talking to bring up Mr. Moore himself, the legend of Mr. Moore. when you were talking about it could take a little while, you remember how you mentioned the old Princes could take a while, right?
Yeah.
One thing that Mr. Moore says, I'm not on a first name basis with him, so I can't say this, right? But one thing he'll say is, if you want quick chicken, go down the road, right? Because it's going to take a while, but it's going to be the best chicken you get.
He takes his time.
So looking at using
he's
that,
also the only one preparing any of that.
all of it, taking orders and everything.
We got to put a stop. We could talk
pause.
so long about that place.
I want to get him on this show.
That's the goal.
Here's the thing. Down the road, I would love to get all of the not so much business owners.
Yeah.
Unless they are the ones who also created the recipes.
I think a lot of times they are.
I believe they are.
I would, yeah.
I would love to get them on here as well.
I cannot imagine a more entertaining episode than one with David Moore. But
Guys,
we got to stop talking.
Pause, yes.
So anyway,
talking about the flakiness of the difference between Nolensville Road but when I think of hot chicken, iconically in my head, if I'm thinking of bone-in, white bread, pickles, right? There is no second to the Nolensville Road location of Prince's.
So, yeah, and like I said, it was maybe like a half step or step down from the Ewing location. It was one of those things you couldn't put your finger on. It's like, it's still Prince's. It's maybe just not. It's missing something, but this Tanger Outlet location, what I got was, it just was not quite as good. It was again a further step away. Now, again, I don't want to be negative and say that's not always what you get there. But like I said, I've never had chicken like that at the Ewing location, at the Nolensville location, and I know what to expect. So it was very informative. It shows what is maybe happening if Prince's continues to scale, and I think I can speak for a lot of people. I think we really want the old Prince's back. If that Jefferson location sold out of cast iron skillets, see, we have modern options for Prince's. We have them, but that's like what Prince's does best is they have the ability to make the best fried chicken of your life. That's what we want. We have dozens of hot chicken options now.
What's the location? And we've talked about this several times, but Hattie B's has a location that is not
Bishop's.
That's exactly it. Bishop's.
We'll have that'll be an episode. That is, I'm saying it right now, the best place to get Hattie B's chicken. But
here, hold on. On that same note, in that same vein, Bishop's is not Hattie B's, but it is the best Hattie B's chicken you can get because it is owned by the same company and it is their version of a quote-unquote step up from the Hattie B's kitchens that we currently have. Would you agree?
Kind of. It's something that I think they're just making in less quantity. And so...
Okay, that's exactly my point. That's exactly the point that I wanted you to say. Is they're making it in less quantity so they can make more attention, they can give more attention to detail to that. If the Jefferson location of Prince's, not even so much focused, there's another location, and we haven't gotten here yet, but we've looked at it, we've walked past it, but it's, do you remember when we were talking about Lily's, and it's over in the...
Farmer's Market.
Farmer's Market, that's the one.
The new kid.
We're going to have to, dude, we got to do an episode on that. That might be the next episode. If it is... just get ready. So all that to be said, that's a very tight kitchen. I think it's only like 2-3 people that were working in there when we walked past. So what I'm going to say is if there was that level of attention to detail at this new Jefferson location, which is all hypothetical and speculation, and hey, Prince's, real talk, bring us in for the soft open, which you're going to have. I would love to do an episode specifically on that location, showing that it holds true to the impression and the dedication that Ewing location gave. I just honestly, with the efficiency of Nolensville, because I think that's a perfect overlap.
I'm pretty sure people would. Now, they probably wouldn't do this because it would be kind of confusing, but if they decided to have somebody that knew what they were doing, that they could sell cast iron skillet, bone-in fried chicken one day a week and charge more for it, I'm pretty sure people would buy it.
Well, they'd sell out. Guaranteed.
I think they would. Old Princes, like Ewing era and before Princes, tell me that's not what people want. People don't want more accessible Princes. Because hot chicken is so abundant now. Now, yes, I'm a huge fan of Princes. And yes, it's hard to recommend Princes. People go drive all the way down south to try Princes when you say, "No, don't go to that location in the food hall." And when there's Hattie B's several around downtown, it's hard to tell them to try Princes. So a Jefferson's location, yes, I want that for a more accessible location for visitors. However, most people in Nashville, they want the old Princes back.
Well, it's okay. I had this conversation with a well-established group of restaurateurs, and one of them looked and said, "We are not here to reinvent the wheel. People come here because that fried bologna sandwich that they're going to get, and this is not Prince's, this is not Hot Chicken. This is a different group of restaurateurs, and this is
what Nashville hot bologna.
Hey, now that's something. That put a pin in that one. I'm here for it, but I say that because I run an open mic, or I don't run it, but I MC an open mic every Thursday night, and the restaurant manager at that location, I call her Captain. She is the captain of the ship. She's outstanding. One of the hardest working and brilliant minded individuals I know. And she looked at me and she said, "Alex, at that point in time, we're not here to reinvent the wheel. People come here to have a fried bologna sandwich because it's what they've had with their grandparents all those years ago sitting at our counter." Now, I'm going to tell you this, Gregory. One of the greatest things that I think they could do is, and I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that, euphoric recall is what we need to go for here, which is where everything is better in your mind from way back when.
Right.
But I feel like if there's a way to focus on just the style, the culture, the process, and perfect that process,
right,
that they would gather all the people that it's, hey, I want to show you what I ate when I was growing up. I want to show you what Mima and Pawpaw ate with us.
Right.
I want to show you what we had on every Friday night because this is what our family did.
And that's the thing. I think Prince's, and I say this with love because, like I said, I love Prince's. This is where I take people from out of town.
As do I.
I think they have a little bit of an identity crisis.
Ooh, expand on that.
Because they are the original. And they are trying to modernize. They partnered with the Yeehaw. They have a location in North or South Carolina. I think it's North.
Prince's does?
Yeah.
No.
At the Yeehaw Brewery out there. Yep.
Hold on. I need to Google.
And actually, I've had the food truck that used to be parked at the Yeehaw here. I got wings there. They were good. The triple X. I got them triple X. Just out of just because, and they weren't actually that hot. And so. Anyway, I think Prince's just has this idea. They're the original, but they're not making it in the original way, and they're trying to modernize, but they're doing it late to the game to where there's so much competition. And so, in my opinion, if you're the original and you have the ability to be the best, embrace that. Embrace the original method that you used to make that chicken. That really is what started all this. You're not the most modern location, and that's okay. Now, is there maybe a lot of financial opportunity in expanding? Yes, sure. But if we could have in Nashville a old school Prince's, like I said, cast iron, if you charge more, you charge more. So that's fine. But that's at the end of the day what I think a lot of people want. Because nobody else is doing that really.
I think,
well, actually, I take that back. I do think there may be some places that still do cook in cast irons, but still, old Prince's, best fried chicken of my life.
Now, I'll agree with that. I will say, So as we mentioned in the first episode, I spent a lot of time in kitchens. Not as much as other people, and this isn't a competition. We all were at war. We were all in battle. We all know what a couple bad shifts on Fridays and Saturdays will do. Reason I say that is I went to do a culinary audition at a place called Sea Island off the coast of Georgia. It's a Forbes 5-star resort off the coast of Georgia. It's beautiful. And I was choosing a couple different things, and one of my meals, I believe, is a Nashville hot chicken sandwich. I did a lot of research, and let me tell you, back in I think it was 16 at that point in time.
Before you moved here.
Before I moved here, yeah. I mean, honestly, back in 2016, I was doing research on this like mad because it was so hard to find outside of what was online, and that was just Hattie B's and Prince's. That's it. But Prince's wasn't even a website.
No.
Right? Like, it was just mentions of this man who had an amorous affair with an estranged lover, and his wife was angry and blah, blah, blah. And that's not even the real story at that point in time. That's partially correct, but that's like trying to describe somebody's face by looking at their shadow. It wasn't the whole story. By the way, I just did research and I found the location at the Yeehaw Brewery in South Carolina. Let me tell you this much. Hot chicken tenders is the number one thing. Hot chicken sandwich, hot chicken wings, and can you guess the fourth item? Hot chicken what?
Waffle?
Hold on. Is that your final guess? This is Greenville, South Carolina.
Is it something native to Greenville?
It is not. Ding, ding, ding. Hot chicken tacos is the fourth item. Okay, so doing all this research, one of my wow, I never put this together until just now. One of my recipes that I did was hot chicken, a hot chicken sandwich. And funny enough, I could not get heat. I couldn't get the heat that I wanted, really? Right? Because the oil that I was using, the butter, I tried to like throw in a couple, I diced up, I like actually made a mash out of peppers, and I like roasted it very quickly, and I tried to like do my own kind of toss, and it was, I'm going to be very honest, it was mediocre at best, right? Because here's the thing. Do you know the song, Do You Believe in Magic, right?
Yeah.
There's a line in it. It's like trying to tell a stranger about rock and roll, right?
Okay.
Right? You can't explain it until you hear it.
Sure.
Right? I had never had hot chicken, and I was trying to recreate it strictly off of the pages. So when I came...
What made you want to do that?
It was a Southern restaurant that I was trying to audition and stage for.
Okay.
And I had to have a Southern kind of flair. And one of the things I did was I called it an Elvis salad, and it had butter bread croutons. It was a peanut butter with a grape vinaigrette, peanut butter dressing with a grape vinaigrette that I kind of went through, and it was this whole kind of twist on bacon crumbles, and it was Cobb salad. It was good, but it wasn't exactly. It was fun, but I wanted to do something that paid homage to Southern cuisine, right? And that was one of the things I wanted to do was Nashville hot chicken. I was enamored by it.
Sure.
So one of the first things I did is coming down here is I went to the Ewing location. I think I was living out of my car in was that 17? Had to be 17.
Who'd you go with?
Myself.
Okay.
I took my house, which was my car. You know what I mean? And I lived out of the back seat, and I drove from where it was parked at right next to Vanderbilt campus, which is not the best place to live out of your car. And I drove from there to Ewing, and I think I waited probably an hour and 20 minutes.
Wow.
But I'm going to tell you this much, though. It was like seeing the light.
How hot did you get it?
I only went hot, and it hurt.
Dude, yeah.
I only went hot, and it hurt.
Yeah.
Okay? But I say all of this, getting back to that base level of knowing what that is, and then living, I mean, literally, Prince's in Nolensville is between where I lived right?
Right.
And where you currently live.
Right.
And our houses are probably only 4 minutes apart.
Right.
Like if I threw a stone hard enough, I probably could have hit the parking lot of the Walmart that is behind the Prince's right there. Like it was that close. So, ladies and gents, I'm so sorry about all of that tangent, but looking at from where we've come to where we're going, right? And where we just ate.
It's a big difference.
The culture that we desire and wish to see in a new location, right? And maybe it's just called Thornton's. Well, that's a gas station, so it can't be that. That would be bad. But like, right?
Maybe they should partner with Thornton's.
No, we're not going to do that. But you know what I'm saying, though, is like maybe it's just a different twist to go back to the original cast iron kind of.
I really think they should. Like I said, even if it's one location that's just a super, just like you know how Starbucks has their, what do they call it in Seattle?
Oh, it's their like custom coffee. It's like the boutique almost.
But it's like the flagship Starbucks where they have specialty coffee drinks and they have real baristas.
Same thing with the original Chipotle. I love the Chipotle company, and that's how they have it in Denver.
There you go. Or Panda Express where they're making orange chicken lo mein burritos at the, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if you had one Prince's that was doing it, obviously it would have to be in Nashville.
Of course.
Selfishly. Doing it the old-fashioned way, I think that would please a lot of people. I really do. And so, you know, that old location, everybody has their own stories about it, but it was so ghetto. I loved it.
I loved it too. Actually, I think that's the whole reason why that culture worked.
Right. And at that point, it wasn't trying to be anything it wasn't. And I remember when I took my mom there for the first time, the line was out the door, around all the way down that shopping center. And I was like, man, I've never seen a line like this. And quickly after we got in line, it started moving. And once we got up to the door, there was a little paper plate taped to the door that said, today we're opening at 2 or whatever it was. It just, and you know, like no social media, then just, that was what it was. And so to me, that just summarized Prince's and that experience at that time. Nowadays, obviously, they're trying to modernize it. It's totally different. We did, like I said, I think there's a little bit of an identity crisis. And the chicken we got today, I think, was probably the worst Prince's I've ever had. To not say it's terrible, but just to say least favorite. And yeah, it's we kind of want the old Prince's back.
But it's not out of disrespect. Like let's call it what it is here.
Right.
We every person that we talk to on numerous different Facebook groups or, you know, random websites, like everybody we talk to, Prince's for what it is. Call it what it is here. Prince's for what it is it's a staple.
Sure.
It absolutely is. It's not, we are not saying that Prince's, you know, umbrella, you know, the Royal P Prince's.
Right.
We're not saying that Prince's is terrible, but what we had today was just, it was a different caliber of chicken.
Yeah. And I'm not even saying it was bad. It was tasty. I enjoyed it. I'm just saying it was not as good as what I'm used to getting from Prince's.
You know what though? Okay, so I'm a guitarist. I'm a musician. And this is, I think, something that's going to lead us into the actually discussing the food itself. So let's pull up the pictures. Let's jump into our minds here. But in the music industry, if you're a guitarist, there was a pedal back in the 90s. And I know I'm bringing up a lot of references this episode, and I'm sorry, but just work with me. There was a pedal back in the 90s, and it was made by a gentleman, and it was called the Klon, Klon, Centaur, okay? And it is, and I'm just going to say this, it is one of those pedals that people are paying like $5,000 for,
right.
Okay? Keith Urban had 2 of them, you know, everybody, you know, it's just, it was the sound, and I say that because there are so many people who will replicate this pedal, so much so that now if you are a pedal manufacturer that makes an overdrive pedal and you do not have a clone, what is called a clone, Klone, a clone, then what are you doing? You know what I mean? So we're not saying Prince's is bad. It is the foundational, cornerstone of the creation of hot chicken. It's not bad, but this preparation was just not up to par. Yeah. And I think in a lot of those clones, and this is where I was going, a lot of those clones, even the original manufacturer made a second batch later on, a second iteration of a V2, if you will. And the reason I say that is on the front of it, it says, this pedal is not responsible for all the hype, right? And the legendary hype, right?
Right.
So we need to, when we're talking about this, we need to bring it back to the fact that this is still a real product. You know what I mean? And nothing's going to be the legend.
How it felt, the game Telephone.
That's great.
It feels like the Nolensville location is the interpretation of old Ewing Princes. It's one degree away, and then this felt 1 degree away from the Nolensville one.
So and did you say that you've been to the one downtown?
I have not. I have not, because they only do tenders and wings.
Yeah.
And and the sandwich, I think. And it's the most expensive location, if my memory serves me correct. And so I've had zero reason to do it. And I have had the truck, like I mentioned, but I don't think the truck's still functioning. I see it parked behind the Nolensville location. And so,
I'll say this much, just jumping right in from there, right? It might be a game of telephone, but let's talk about, instead of comparisons, let's just talk about this food. And I'm looking at your plate right now. Now, ladies and gents, you're going to remember Gregory's friends, folks of all kinds. You're going to remember that Gregory's plate is the classic. It is the iconic. It is bone-in leg quarter, piece of white bread. It is perfect, right? Extra pickles.
And breast quarter.
Oh, you got the breast quarter. I forgot about that.
Leg quarter, breast quarter, half bird if possible, and extra pickles.
Extra pickles. Got to go the extra pickles.
And the heat was good. We have to say, heat was good, right?
And honestly, flavorful.
Yeah.
For what it is, it was still flavorful for what it was.
Totally.
But I got to say, looking at your plate alone, goodness, just take a look at that leg quarter. It's the same picture. It's dude, that leg quarter, golden.
Yeah, but notice how it just doesn't have that crispy, flakiness.
You're right.
And like I think I mentioned earlier, it was actually the grease actually tore a hole in the bottom of the bread, and I've never seen that before at Prince's. And so, I'll say it right now, in case I didn't mention this earlier. Favorite thing we ate at the Tanger Outlet was the sandwich.
The sandwich.
Prince's did not invent the hot chicken sandwich. They just may have perfected it, which is a recent addition to the menu, like 2 or 3 years. And I will say, the bread, I believe, is a King's Hawaiian bun at the Nolensville location, and it's not this. It's still a Hawaiian bun, but not. It looks more like a bakery one. I didn't like it as much as what I've had at the Nolensville location, but still, I know you were blown away by it.
I gotta say this, but okay, I want to still talk about the breast quarter, because obviously my focus in these shows, right, in these episodes, is going to be the tenders, the white meat chicken, which is that way I can give a different perspective, right? Sure. So I want to go back and I want to talk about the breast quarter, because it was anyway. But I'm going to talk about my thoughts first on the leg quarter and then the sandwich, because I know we said we weren't going to focus on the sandwiches at shows at different restaurants on shows, but I gotta tell you, man, this sandwich kind of took my breath away.
Yeah.
It really did.
And I was the one that told you, we got to do a sandwich, just because, Alex, you haven't had the sandwich before. You got to do the sandwich.
So to anybody that's looking at this, at the Tanger Outlets, this is called the Andre Chicken Sandwich, okay?
Named after Miss Andre.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so sorry about that. I can't believe I got that. It's $8.25, okay? It is, as it states, I got to zoom in here. Boneless chicken breast served on a Hawaiian roll with choice of sweet heat or kickin' ranch, and you choose your heat level from the hot scale. Topped with dill pickles, garnished with coleslaw.
And if I remember correctly, it natively comes in mild if you get it at the Nolensville location. However, you can order it at hotter levels at the Nolensville location.
That's correct.
But natively, I think it normally just comes mild. There, they ask you your heat.
Correct. And I have to say this much too. Not a joke. When you get this sandwich in hot, just regular hot, and I took pictures of all this. I'm going to post this for the entire. I'm going to post this on our Instagram. Feel free to take a look. Down the road, Gregory, I haven't brought this up, but we might end up getting a Patreon. Because something that I'd really like to do is I would like to down the road talk to people who are coming in to Nashville and really kind of curate based on what they like.
Yeah.
Just kind of be like, hey, here's what you're thinking. Here's this. Anyway, kind of like a weird Michelin style, like a hot chick, rating scale. Anyway, but the picture.
Yeah. Recently,
oh my gosh,
Hot Chicken Week was a couple months ago, and so I ate a lot of hot chicken sandwiches because that's mostly what's there in Hot Chicken Week. But Prince's sandwich is a winner. I'm just saying it. It is what it is. It's one of those things that sometimes I always get bone-in chicken there, but sometimes I got to get a sandwich too.
Well, and I'm saying this much. We got this with the sweet heat.
Yes.
And
which is kind of like a sweet and sour or like a honey mustard.
If you could cross honey mustard consistency with a Cattleman's Gold barbecue sauce, you know what I mean? How it has that vinegar kind of, with a sweetness. I don't know how better to describe it, like a honey.
Yeah.
It's honestly like a Cattleman's Gold mixed with honey, and it's very thin. It's not vinegar based. It's a honey mustard consistency, but it's just a little bit on there.
Right.
And boy, howdy, guys. It was the perfect consistency it was a perfect sauce to connect the heat of the chicken to the sweet of the roll. And it just tied the whole sandwich together. And I got the tenders, fries, coleslaw.
So tell me about what you thought of the tenders.
Okay. This is me being a little,
we do have one last tender to eat. Remember?
Yeah, gosh, we got our side chick, y'all. And it's sitting, I want to say maybe 5 inches away from my hand right now.
And it's radiating.
Guys, I'm telling you right now, this is just me being very transparent with you. There are visible stink lines coming off of this that are going up into the air. I think I just saw like a bug fly around it and then just fall straight to the ground. Yeah. It is borderline toxic.
Don't look at it.
Don't look directly at it.
Don't look at it.
I will say this much though, the tenders. Now this is what I wanted to talk about because this ties back to your breast quarter,
which I thought the breast quarter was actually better than the leg quarter.
I agree with you. I agree, and that's
just better fried.
Well, but that's the thing. I don't know what they did, but do you remember when I gave you the piece of the tender and I said,
yes,
Gregory, there is something different in the marinade has to be between the breast quarter and the tenders because I don't know what it was. The tenders themselves have, and if you look at the pictures, they have almost this like, it has to have like, the best way I can describe it would be like when Chick-fil-A uses pickle juice in their marinade. Right? And it almost breaks it down so it's uber flaky.
I think it was a bit almost like a different batter.
I agree with you.
It was just.
I will say this much though, when you look at the breast quarter, right?
Yeah.
When you look at the breast quarter, it looks so similar to the leg quarter.
Correct.
And I feel like those are the same, right? Whatever that batter is would have to be the same. Miss Andre, if I may, please allow us to do a 1 hour interview, 30-minute, 15-minute interview with you, please. And you know what? How about this? I'll make you a deal. 30-minute interview, 15 with you on the history of your family's company, which we would love to respect and document for a historic, like carbon date it, and then bring on your executive chef. I would love to discuss with him the corporate side and details, because we love your products, but it's a little bit confusing as to why, again, we think there might be a little bit of an identity crisis. We love the breast quarter, but what is different between the breast quarter and the tenders?
Right.
We just want to, again.
She probably won't tell us. They're pretty uptight about it. But
not uptight, just very tight-lipped.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I get it. And when you have to understand that's all there was for a long time. And it's pretty awesome that Prince's, well, as old as it is, with as many different hot chicken places as there are, nothing tastes like Prince's.
Nothing, ever. And we were talking, you know what? That's for another episode, because we were talking about what it would take to make another hot chicken seasoning or something.
Right.
We're going to talk about that down the road, right? Maybe not the next episode, but we'll talk about it. In the meantime, Gregory, we're going to post all these pictures when this episode comes out. And obviously we'll label them. Here's the thing that I'd love to go through is any last thoughts. We talked about the sandwich and how it was the winner. We talked about the leg quarter and the batter. It was a little greasy. It went straight through the bread, Did
we talk about the menu price?
No. Do you want to bring that up real quick?
Yeah, this is, and I don't know if they're going to fix this, but the leg at the time of recording this, if you order a half bird, which is obviously a leg quarter and a breast quarter, it is 50 cents more than ordering a leg quarter and a breast quarter separately. Just saying the words, I want a leg quarter and a breast quarter. If they ring those up separately, it is 50 cents less than the half bird, which is $17 versus $16.50. I
will also say this much,
and
I mean, again, I don't know if that's just what they do or it was a pricing misnomer.
And on the Nolensville location, it's the exact same price. I'm pretty sure they have leg quarter, breast quarter, half bird, whole chicken, and it doesn't matter what you order; it's all the same price. So that's got to be something that's fixed. I'm just like that. Just makes no sense.
Here's my question, and I don't mean to laugh at this, but it's just sincere. Like, looking at this whole process, we've had I'm going to say hundreds of pounds of chicken from Prince's since we've all been here. Fix your mic, man. It's a little bit cattywampus. There we go. It's a weird word. I love it. Anyway, so we've probably eaten hundreds of pounds of hot chicken, right? You way more than I have. I'm going to tell you that right now. But looking at this is definitely not the best hot chicken we've had.
No.
But I definitely think it's better than a lot of competitors out there that may not know the origins of hot chicken and maybe don't know kind of.
I think most of the competitors in Nashville know the origins. They have to. Now, outside of Nashville, when it's a place like Dave's that just has sandwiches and tenders, do they really know the origins?
I don't know. I'm passionate about my Dave's hot chicken. I'm just saying.
I know, but
do you remember when I sent you the picture of 7-Eleven?
Yes.
Remember when I sent you the picture of 7-Eleven? I literally, there's 7-Eleven by my house here in Nashville. There's a 7-Eleven by my house. It has Roost chicken broaster or whatever it is. Dude, I took one bite of it, turned around to my wife, and I looked and I said, I think I'm done. She goes, you going to talk to Gregory about that one? I said, I don't think I will.
Yeah.
But you're right. So many people know the history, but in this process, I think this is, as far as we are looking, straight down the middle, classic Prince flavor. Quality was not a top 10. I would give it maybe like a 6.5, 7 in this one.
I'm just saying those two locations are so close, I just would never go to the Tanger Outlet one. Well, even if I lived next to the Tanger Outlet, I would just go to the Nolensville Prince's.
Okay, last thing I want to talk about. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this, for any which way. When we brought home right? When we brought home the side chick for this one, we thought about getting a different side, like another side chick and doing a full tender each. So we stopped by the Nolensville Pike location.
Yeah, and they were out.
So this is the thing. So Death was not available today.
Yeah, I walked up to the counter, was like, I want a XXX tender, and they said, sorry, we can't do that right now. We are out. We could add more to turn it from a single X to a double X, but we can't do a XXX, which tells us
there is a secret ingredient aspect.
It tells us the Grim Reaper was not currently in, and he was in at the Tanger location, and he's with us now because that's what we have.
He is so very present, right, guys? I'm getting a suntan from this.
I have had XXX, like I mentioned. I've had it on the wings at the truck, which was nothing. I've had it before from the Nolensville location, and it was horrible. I mean, it's. So I know Prince's history. I don't know when they added the XXX and all that. I'm pretty sure they used to probably just add more spice of what they had. Nowadays, they're probably putting other peppers in there. And
there has to be.
And it was, yes, it was terrible. It made my urine sting. I'm just gonna be straight with you. It's hot, and not comfortable, and maybe not the hottest in town. I don't know, but either way, Prince's knows how to kick up the heat.
I'll say this much, and this is full transparency here, Gregory. I have never in my lifetime had Prince's XXX.
Oof.
And I'm so thankful that we have our Fairlife chocolate milk.
Yeah, sponsored by Fairlife, or hope to be soon.
Yeah, hopefully
Fairlife.
Soon to be sponsored by Fairlife milk.
Right, pour me a cup.
Yeah, dude. Okay, I'm gonna pause real quickly, ladies and gents. We're gonna do a quick pause. We're gonna prep the side chicks. We're gonna get some Fairlife milk poured, and I also am going to go get a wet nap, like one of the napkins, so that we can wipe our mouths off, because this is not hot ones.
There's a.
Oh,
No, you don't need a pause.
You're beautiful.
Yeah.
Look at you. There you go. That's going to be your wonderful little...
I am pouring a full cup.
We're going to need it.
We have goblets today.
We do. This is our HOT Chix not registered.
Okay, and also,
cup.
So we're not eating the bread. We don't need to eat the bread. I personally don't really eat the bread. I think we're eating the chicken. Right.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life, and I've jumped off of train trestles.
We're eating the chicken, not the bread. We each have a pickle to eat it with. So
I have jumped from a moving train before, Gregory. I'm scared on this. Oh gosh. Okay, here we go.
All right, you ready? All right.
Nostrovia.
Cheers.
Slancha. Cheers.
The XXX side chick tender from Prince's.
Here we go. All right. Oh God. Oh God, I'm just eating it all.
Eat it.
Oh.
Get down. Man.
This is horrible.
Where you going?
I gotta move.
Oh, here come the hiccups.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. All right, we're going through this live. There's a slow and steady ramp up right now, where it's definitely here, but it has not. Oh, it's.
Alex just looked up in to the sky.
Internal prayers, y'all.
His eyes got wide and he looked straight to the sky.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
You know,
thoughts. A lot more flavor than I thought it was going to have.
Mine actually not super bad.
Oh, mine's going down.
Is it going down? I haven't touched the milk yet.
I haven't either. Oh, it's still there. Guys, one piece of advice. don't get it on the outside of your mouth.
No, it'll sting.
It does burn. Okay, so that was actually a quick one.
Yeah. Wow, that was not as bad as I expected.
That was not as bad as I expected.
I have had worse. Sorry, when I say worse, I mean hot.
Hotter.
I've had hotter Triple X from Prince's. That was hot. Are you eating the bread?
I'm gonna go for the bread on this one. Yeah, you don't have to.
I'll do it with you.
No, you don't have to, man. You're not a bread guy.
I'm not gonna have you go in alone on this.
Cheers.
All right. Cheers.
Oh, that oil.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a sleeper.
That's what'll wake you up at night.
Oh, man. That is a mistake. Oh, my. That was a mistake. That's where the mistake was. Oh, that was a mistake. Okay. Cheers. This is the milk. Fairlife chocolate milk. Thank you very much.
Fairlife. Mm.
Oh, man.
Please sponsor us.
Please sponsor us. We go.
By the way, same amount of sugar as normal milk, but chocolate and quite tasty and high in protein
and lactose free. To anybody out there who I might share a little bit of lactose intolerance.
It's a cheat code.
Yeah,
it's a cheat code for. Dang, it's still building.
Oh man, it's still there. It's not away. You want to know? You want to know something that really kills me? Is wow, where did that come from? Second wave.
Post-milk second wave.
Oh, man. So sorry, y'all. For anybody who hates ASMR, this is for you. Okay. All right. It bloomed really well. And I'm talking like it's a wine, but wow.
It's still going.
Yeah, it is. Remember when I said it was done? I'm an idiot. I'm not, but I was sorely mistaken. All right, here are my thoughts.
Okay.
I'm going to barrel through this while I'm drinking Fairlife, so I apologize. I believe this is a longer burn than a quick heat.
Yes.
This is that was redundant to say, and I apologize. It still very much burns. I believe one of my favorite hot chickens that I've had was Moore's.
Oh.
And that is a very front load and then simmers off.
Bolton's too.
Bolton's
is just
they're
right up
fish.
front.
Can we talk about Bolton's fish?
On the Bolton's episode.
On the Bolton's
because it deserves.
Yes, it does.
That.
You're right. But with this heat, this is okay.
It's going down for me.
Yeah, it is. You know, on a standard roller coaster where it click, 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 click all the way up, and then it has a massive dip, right? Comes back up almost as high, maybe a loop-de-loop in that section, right? And then comes back down a few more kind of twists or turns or something, and then returns back home. That's the best representation I can give to the Prince's 3X. Give it about 4 minutes. Do not, and this is me saying this out there, because a lot of people don't understand what triggers capsaicin and what flares capsaicin, but sugar will. So the fact that we probably have chocolate milk is probably not the best idea, but whatever. One of the things that I'm going to recommend to everybody is get yourself, if you're going to do this, get yourself just some water, a little bit of lemon, right? Be prepared that you're going to need something to cut that back. Or just white milk.
Pickles.
Pickles as well. Pickles is great, which honestly, if you think about it, is why they're served with pickles. And also, pickles and Prince's, I mean, just order extra of the pickles. It's a perfect pairing.
Tear off a bite of chicken, eat it with pickle, rinse and repeat.
You know what? You want to get crazy, just grab oh my gosh, the mop on that thing was so hot, man. It was the mop that got me. The bread. The mop.
Well, I don't usually eat that.
I know, that's what got me. Was the mop. Okay. All that to be said, brother, I think Ooh, yeah, that was good. Ooh, sorry about that, y'all. I think one of the biggest things that I was going to say on this was ride that roller coaster, right? No matter where you get it, if you're a hot chasing fan, I don't think it's the hottest we've had.
No.
It definitely has heat to it.
Yeah.
Not for the faint of heart, but definitely not the worst.
Also not enjoyable.
It was not a pleasurable heat. That's
No. I mean, like, you could still. Is it food? No, but could you still taste the chicken and everything? Yeah, you could.
Can you? Okay, I'm sorry. Expand on that.
Not enjoyable is what I mean.
Not enjoyable.
Right. I mean, like, no. I'm not enjoying this process. I'm just saying. Is it so hot and with zero flavor? No, there's still flavor and everything. That's what I'm trying to say.
You're saying okay.
There's still something to enjoy for the people out there that for some reason can just enjoy that level of capsaicin. Yes, you still can taste flavor and chicken and things like that.
You can still taste everything while you are burning the outer layers of your stomach. Congratulations. No, seriously, I agree with you. I think it is a tasty food, right? It is. How about this? In some places, like Quaker Steak and Lube up in Pennsylvania, they have the atomic sauce. You have to sign a waiver.
Right.
You eat a couple, you get your name up on the wall or whatever.
And it tastes terrible.
At that point in time, the wings are just a transport for the sauce.
Right.
This XXX is not that case. This is still a good piece of chicken.
Right.
With a good sauce to it, but it's not the best heat. It's not the best flavor profile and it's not the best heat, but it is a good sauce. It is, I would say, for anyone looking to try General Nashville XXX, period, make sure that death is in and that the Grim Reaper is there that day. I'm telling you this much. I don't think there's any other way to try your first absolute hot than to go with Prince's. What do you think?
No, I totally agree. Although for most people, hot will make them sweat.
Absolutely.
The amount of people that go in there that say, I'll just take hot, and then they end up regretting their decision is tremendous.
I am most people in this situation.
Yeah.
I am. Listen, most people will do this. Yes, I am people.
Right.
But I think, real talk, I think we're just about to call this for this episode.
Yeah.
Last thoughts, Gregory, on Prince's.
This was a great way to kick off this journey. That there was the most fitting way was to do Prince's. Start it off right. Start off with the newest location of Prince's and go from there. So
honestly, one of the best things is this episode also went long. Guys, we're learning this just like you are. They might be shorter. They might be longer. If we do
we had a lot to say with Prince's, obviously.
We were not going to do any other hot chicken first other than Prince's.
Correct.
So thanks for sticking around with us. And honestly, Gregory, I think I'm going to take us out. What do you think?
There you go. Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, folks, family, fellow poultry fanatics, be safe. Keep it spicy, and as always,
just wing it.
Pretty babe, we're far from free. The 7 deadly sins of loving you. Wrath, greed, sloth, and pride. Don't hang me for a ride. Please, babe, say you feel it too. Envy, lust, gluttony. Oh, pretty babe, we're far from free. The 7 deadly sins of loving you.